and you actually said something. Can you recall?
I think so, but you just
lay it
said
on me.
that I can. No. Was it about the love? I can't. No. Tell me. I don't know. You're putting me under pressure, love.
I'm sorry.
Under pressure.
I didn't mean to do that.
I can't always remember what I say.
I was like, I said words.
I
Wait,
said,
when?
what?
When
I know
was
we
this?
talk. You're supposed to listen, not me. You're supposed to listen what comes out of my mouth. I don't need to recall
Yeah,
that.
why should I remember what I said if you're there to remind me of what I said? Come
Yes,
on,
exactly.
man.
You see, marriage 101.
There we go. There we go. I mean, we can just end it right there. Hello and welcome back to Make Life Fun Again with Harry and Charlene. Today is going to be a fun one, but a very tricky and interesting one. So today's topic is what makes a marriage work when life gets real.
Yes.
You know, I think that's the thing. A lot of the times you end up getting married and everything's, it's so nice and you've got the butterflies and, you know, the honeymoon phase, and then eventually that wears off and you have to get back to work and you have to face real responsibilities and all of that stuff. But how do you make your marriage work?
Yes.
Tell them.
Well.
First you start by, you've got 7 steps. Step 1. No, I'm just kidding. It's a very interesting conversation, and I think it's something that you can probably talk about for hours on end, and we're not going to do that, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully.
But it's a powerful topic, and I think if you ask this question to 10 different couples, you're going to get 10 different answers
for sure.
But you guys have asked us, so you're going to get our answer. So you came back from honeymoon, and especially in our case, when we've never been married before, I used to live on my own. Mm-hmm. I stayed with my dad for a while. He passed away, as you guys know. And then I stayed on my own. And you stayed with your parents right up to the day that we got married. Correct. And there's a very weird fly here. Anyways, and now all of a sudden you're back from honeymoon, and now you're occupying.
Life starts.
You're occupying a house with another human being, and it's such a big transition. And I know for us that was kind of a big thing. It was a big moment, and you have to figure out how to live in the same house with a human that was brought up in a different family. Correct. With different ways of doing things. I mean, as simple as a different time of day to have dinner. You get what I'm saying? Everything's different.
I think, especially when you haven't stayed together with a partner before you got married. I mean, that was in any case our case. And how it should be.
Agreed. If you don't agree, go back and listen to the previous one, and you'll change your mind.
But when you go on honeymoon, that is like a holiday, right? And things are always different on a holiday. You're in a different environment, you're in a different space. Things
there's no work pressure or anything.
Like everything is different, right? And now you get back to reality. And that reality has changed completely.
Dramatically.
And I can remember, because before we got married, I helped out at your mom's flower shop. But I actually didn't have a job when we got married, right? So like afterwards. So for a period of time, I was at home. And now all of a sudden, it's that weird thing of you going to work and I'm at home alone, which is like the weirdest thing ever, because I've always used to my mom, because she was a housewife, and now all of a sudden you're kind of in your own house and you're like, okay, what now?
What am I supposed to do?
What am I supposed to do?
That's a weird one.
But not just that, it's like it's also like you said, now all of a sudden you have to occupy space with another human being, and because of different backgrounds, you are brought up in certain ways, and you do have certain habits.
Absolutely,
that kind of carry over in your life. And now it's that realization that you kind of have to make it work.
Yeah, you have to
right?
find that
you
new
have to
balance.
find that new balance.
Now, look, I was very fortunate in that your parents raised you very well. And I remember the first day I got back from work, went out in the morning, goodbye, love, I'll see you this afternoon.
I'll see you later.
And I came back home and you greeted me at the door in lingerie with a ready cooked meal in your hand. No, I'm talking absolute rubbish.
Yeah,
this
that's
is not
nonsense.
true. But and I think that's the reality, is people expect big things. And
right.
I mean, that's a ludicrous example, but people have certain expectations. They expect certain things to kind of just happen, and it's just not.
That's not reality.
No. You have to, and this is going to shock a lot of people to hear this, but you have to actually speak words to one another.
Yes.
And tell each other, hey, this is kind of something that I would like. How
Correct.
do you feel about that?
Yep.
And I think this is the even more difficult thing for people to kind of wrap their head around. Then you have to listen. And you have to hear the other person's thoughts and opinions and kind of get to the realization that, wow, they have other perspectives and other expectations. It's not just me. Whoa. And then your mind is blown. Your world is turned upside down. And you have to kind of figure out, okay, where are we gonna meet each other?
Yes.
So how are we gonna do it then?
Correct.
Not how are you gonna do it for me? How are we gonna do it? And that's kind of it's magical, but I think a lot of people really struggle with that whole thing.
And I think one of the things, I mean, we are kind of jumping a little bit around, but we're going to get to how do you do it, or how we do it in any case.
Yeah.
I think one of the big things that a lot of people do in today's life is they've got this belief that your partner needs to know what's going on in your mind, type of thing. And that, like, the lady will be like, yeah, but he should know. Well, he's not going to know if you don't talk about it. And vice versa type of thing. Like, communication, I think, is such a big part of the whole thing. That kind of sums up everything. And
that is, by the way, sorry to interrupt you, but that is, by the way, definitely an entire podcast all on its own that we are going to be recording for you guys.
Correct.
Communication.
Yes. So, but going on to that, like the communication part. So in the previous podcast that we did mention that we came out of households where there was friction and we didn't want to have that in our marriage. And we made the decision that if there's going to be anything that pops up, we are going to communicate about that.
Yep.
And that, I would say, even though we're going to have a different podcast with regards to the communication, I think that is the number one key of starting your marriage in real life.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Because, like you said, you kind of have to speak words to one another. And the way that you communicate and how you communicate is going to set a stage of how you are going to experience your life and
your marriage,
life.
Everything. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And we can touch on it very briefly, but I basically said it. People have a misconception of what communication is. Communication is not telling the other person what you want and then them doing it. That's just simply not how it works. Communication is so much more than that. And I actually wrote something for you a while back that explained it so beautifully, and that is what we're going to be discussing. But in a nutshell, communication really is setting time apart in order to share your thoughts and opinions with your partner, giving them the opportunity to share their thoughts and opinions to you, and then having a very open and honest conversation about the way forward. that's basically the gist of it. Yep. But I think the key to that as well is doing it in a peaceful and respectful manner.
Yes.
And not a fighting manner, because, oh my gosh, that just solves nothing. So yeah, communication, I absolutely agree with you. That is vitally important. And the thing to remember as well, different people have different ways of communicating.
Correct. Yes.
And that's also a very important thing to remember is, one person is going to say something one way and another person is going to say the exact same thing a completely different way. And that's also fine.
Yes.
That is where the fun of marriage comes in, because you get to discover each other in that way, and you get to learn how the other person communicates.
Yes.
And how you can better communicate towards them, etc. And it's a beautiful thing. Once you get
really
it,
is, yes.
it really is a beautiful thing. And I'm going to use a silly example now. Can you remember in the Bible there was a war that was about to happen?
Yes.
And they were going to go into war, and the guy was like, man, I got myself an army. We're going to go cause some damage, man. And then God was like, no. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to take your army to the river, and you're going to have them drink water. And you're going to see some of them are going to scoop water out in their hands, and they're going to drink it. And some of them are going to dunk their faces into the river. And you're going to separate them into two halves. And he was like, sweet, okay, cool. I can do that. That sounds like a good idea. Get them organized. I love it. And then they did that, and then I was like, all right, cool. I got them in two halves. And then God was like, all right, cool. Send the one half home. And he was like, wait, hold the fuck.
Hold up.
What? What do you mean by this? And then God was like, all right, cool, but we're not done. And he was like, okay. And then I was like, here's what you're going to do. You're going to do a separate thing. And they kept going until he only had like 100 men left or whatever. I can't remember the exact number.
Amount, but it was shockingly low.
It was not a lot of people.
Yes.
It's like, but God, like, I had a whole army, man. It's like, yeah, I totally get you, but yeah, you don't need a whole army when you got me on your side. You know, it was a cool thing. And anyways, the point I'm trying to get at, that's a very cool story. You can absolutely go and read that. But anyways, the point that I'm trying to get at is people drink water differently. As I know, shocking, right? Dog, really? Especially when drinking out of a tap. And this is something that popped up very recently.
Yes.
I would say about a month ago in our marriage. I mean, we've been married more than 15 years now. And it was such an interesting thing. We installed a brand new faucet in the kitchen that has a filter system, and that is where we get our drinking water from. And I had never really paid much attention to it, but we started brushing our teeth in the kitchen since then. I know
another topic.
There's a fun topic for y'all to discuss.
Yes.
Where do you brush your teeth? In the bathroom where you do your number 2, or in the kitchen where you work with food and it's clean? I don't know. You guys decide. But anyways, we decided what we're going to do is we're going to do it in the kitchen because it's filtered water, so it's better for your mouth in any case, and it's away from your number 2s. So it just made sense to us. Okay, deal with it. Anyway, and this little faucet is beautiful, and it's this lovely bent little tubey thing, and it's all like shiny, it's pretty and new. And then I started realizing that there's always freaking toothpaste on it. And I'm like, how? How is there toothpaste on the faucet? I couldn't figure it out.
Thanks for sharing my secrets.
I know.
This is bad. You don't do that to your partner. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just kidding.
We're going to restart this podcast.
We're going to restart.
No, but I couldn't figure it out. And that's when I realized, hey, you and I drink water differently. And it's not that one is right and one is wrong. No. I let the faucet pour into my hand and I sploosh it in my face. And you simply drink out of the faucet. And sometimes just the tiniest little bit would kind of touch the faucet. And it was never a thing. But now because it's this shiny thing, and I didn't come to you and go, oh, you know what, this is unacceptable. Like, this is disgusting. Yeah. That's not what I did. I came to you and I was like, I just realized the most interesting difference between you and me. Yes, do share. And I was like, I actually checked how you do it. I drink water from the faucet like this. You don't. You do it like this. And you're like, oh, never really thought about that. I was like, well, that's interesting. I'm going to ask you one favor. Once you're done,
just make sure there's no toothpaste.
Just clean off the faucet tip.
Because sometimes you don't even realize it. I think that was the thing in my case. Like, you are so busy in it and you kind of just, then kind of splash and you kind of clean the sink, but you don't think of the,
And then I was like, just make sure, it's just, if guests come and whatever, and this is our drinking water, it might just be like, what the hell is that? And you instantly went, oh, wow, I never even thought about that. And now that is probably the cleanest thing in our house because now you're obsessed with cleaning it. And I'm like, okay, cool. And it was a fun little topic, but we can, we can delve into examples like that.
Many examples, yes.
And I think, you know what, let's dive into one of mine. Would you like to share with the audience the first time you ever tickled me?
That was probably one of the scariest moments in my life.
Wow, it's not that bad.
It was traumatic.
It
wasn't that bad. So we were kind of in bed. I think the morning we woke up and we cuddled a little bit, and it was, that moment where I kind of like sat on top of you, like you do, like you get playful, right?
Well, you can share the whole story of them. We were newlyweds.
Yes. Let's leave it at newlyweds.
It was the morning, and it was a her on top type of moment. There's nothing wrong with that.
But it was also a playful moment. I think it was, we were like very chirpy and
it was a good moment.
Kind of just had time together. And I don't know why. For the life of me, don't know why. But I was like, he is lying with his... Hi there, Wasp.
Oh, Wasp in my face. Bet you've never seen that on a podcast before.
And so you were kind of lying in a position where you had your arms above your head.
Yeah.
And I was like, opportune moment where I can tickle you, right? And I started tickling, and all of a sudden the friendly face changed into a very, very mean, don't you dare face. And I was like, I don't know what I did wrong, but I'm sorry. I won't do that again. Yep.
Here's the thing. When I was a kid, I had a very traumatic experience. And I never really fully realized it. But tickling became a very, very, very big no-go for me. It's a solid boundary. And it was not something that I had perfect control over. Like I said, I had a very traumatic experience as a child, and that manifested as an adult as complete and utter uncontrollable rage when being tickled. And it's a horrible thing. It's such a freakingly annoying problem to have.
Yes.
It sucks.
But I think the thing is, it's like, how long before that specific stage were you last tickled? Probably
exactly.
as a kid.
Probably
so
as a kid.
I don't think your brain even realized that that was a traumatic experience until you experienced it.
Oh, yeah. And boy, did we experience it together. And it was quite rough. But we very quickly determined that this is a big, big problem. And you proceeded to never tickle me ever again.
Yes.
Pretty much.
No, I think that's the thing. Like, I saw what it did to you or how you reacted. And because I know you and know your character and know exactly who you are as a person, even though we weren't married for that long. Yeah. I knew that was completely out of character for you, the way that you reacted, or what I saw on your face. I think that's the thing. It's not that you got shouty or mean or anything like that, or aggressive or anything like that. It was just, but I could see it in your face, like this is a no-go at all.
Never do that ever again. And
I didn't.
No, you didn't. And we had a conversation about it directly afterwards, where I apologized and explained to you, like, I don't know why, but this is just something that I'm definitely not comfortable, apparently. And it was fine. But then something interesting happened. About a year ago, our daughter is now 8 years old, and she's very playful and everything. And I started realizing that I was missing out on a very fun part of life. And it's the part of life of being playful with each other. And this is something that I realized. You never expected me to change.
No.
You simply adapted and said, I will never tickle you. But you were extremely clever. You were absolutely brilliant. When we would have playful moments, you would always reference that and kind of go, oh, just remember, I could very easily tickle you. And I was like, oh, but you know what's going to happen. And you would use words as a way to kind of have fun with it, not in a attacking kind of way, in a very playful way of, oh, your arm is under me. Just remember, I have an open hand, I know your weakness, Superman. And you were very playful in that manner. And so I always had this notion in my head that it is something that you would naturally kind of want to be able to do. And about a year ago, I decided, man, I need to figure out why this is such a big-ass trigger for me. And I actually started doing some hectic journaling and kind of trying to figure out where this came from. What was so bad about the tickling thing that it would make me lash out? Because I did not just lash out at you. I had a niece tickle me once, and she was, I can't even remember how old.
She was about 10 at that stage.
10 or whatever. And I was busy installing a new plug of sorts, and I was hunched over, and she came from behind, and she tickled my just underneath the foot.
Yes.
And I swung around, and I grabbed a hold of that 10-year-old's wrists, and I slammed them into the floor, and I looked her dead in the eye, and I swore like, you can't believe it. And I was like, you will never. No, I didn't swear.
No, you didn't.
No,
you were just like, you don't ever do that.
I was like, you do not ever tickle me. And I remember her dad going, all right, everything's fine. And he moved her away, and he's like, yes, we never tickle Uncle Harry. Okay, everything's fine.
And afterwards, he's like, I'm sorry.
And then I got up, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I have no control over this. I'm a horrible human being. And it was, and I apologized, and they explained it, whatever.
Yes.
But it was annoying. And I just realized a year ago, I was like, man, I need to figure out what the hell is this big trigger for me? Why? And I actually got to the bottom of it. I realized, it was something that happened in grade 1. And I've been living my life traumatized by something that happened in grade 1.
Yeah. But I think that was such a subconscious thing that happened.
Oh, it was?
It's not that you were thinking about it every day, but that moment kind of triggered that feeling, I would say.
Yeah.
That you felt in grade 1, and you never realized it until you actually dug deep.
Yeah. And then I found it, and then I realized, man, it was such a silly little thing that happened in grade 1, and I need to rectify this. And over the past year, I have given you the opportunity to just start gently pushing the boundary, introducing, just exposing me to it. And that's what I did. It's a safe space. You know how hectic it is.
Yes.
I know I can trust you. And that was a defining thing.
Yes.
Because I knew I could trust you to stop whenever I asked you to. And I felt that safety with you. I could tell you, all right, cool. Just, we're playful, whatever.
Let's try.
Just a little bit. Obviously, I know you're going to stop. And you would just gently. And some days you would just, gently as you would just rub your partner's arm, whatever, you just go a little bit further and a little bit further. And we would start introducing it like that. And you thoroughly helped me. And now I'm almost at a better space than you.
Yes.
I can literally lift my hands and be like, come on, tickle me. What you got? Give me your best shot. And it's fine. And even when you catch me off guard, it's not that aggressive thing that happens. Now, all of a sudden, it's we're doing that right now, are we? And it turns into a very fun, playful thing.
Correct. And I think the thing is as well, like you have to be respectful about your partner's boundaries or what the boundaries are, because still to this day I'm not just going to catch you off guard when your back is turned to me. I'll never do that, because even though you've basically overcome that fear, or you overcame the fear, I still respect you enough to know there's ways in doing that.
Yeah, I get you.
There's respectful ways in doing that, and I think that is a very important thing to know, is to respect those boundaries of your partner. And
Yeah. Now, I know everybody is listening to this and going, okay,
like,
but
where is real life?
What? How? Okay, so what does make a marriage work? I don't get it. We're getting there. The point that I wanted to make with those two stories is very, very simple. When you're in a marriage, there are two people involved in that situation. It is you yourself and it is your partner. And there's a magical thing that happens when both partners want the marriage to work, number one, and have the realization that you are only able or in charge of yourself. And if you are constantly in a state of improving yourself with the goal or purpose to be the best partner that you can be for your partner, it's a beautiful thing, because they are going to retaliate and work on themselves in order to be the best possible partner that they can be for you as their partner. And that's a thing that we managed very early on, actually, was to realize that I need to be respectful of your boundaries. You need to be respectful, and you realize that you needed to be respectful of my boundaries. But because you were so respectful of my boundaries,
and vice versa,
I realized, man, I am willing to spread my wings a little bit and to try and figure out why I have those certain boundaries, so that I can maybe give you more freedom in exploring those boundaries. And I'm talking about things, I'm not talking about things that should be a boundary. There are certain things that absolutely should be a boundary, and you should not push those boundaries at all. You yourself shouldn't. I'm talking within reason, something like the tickling thing. It's very important for me to give you that freedom to be playful with me, because my gosh, if you can't be playful with your own husband, that's not a good thing.
Not at all.
That is such a big mosquito. Wow, this is
turning into be a very lively.
I'm so curious to know if you guys could hear it. Anyway, we got distracted. But that's the thing. When you respect each other's boundaries and you get to a point where you can really start exploring those boundaries with each other, man, it's a magical thing. But you can only find those boundaries through open and honest communication and exploration.
Yes, and it really does go about trust as well. And I think that is where, from the beginning, you need to start building that trust with your partner. You need to show the respect. You need to give them the freedom to also, how can I say, make mistakes and correct it. You understand, but building that trust together. And that is why, again, it is to me such a sad thing when I see couples that are in a marriage for only a short period of time, because there's no way that you've learned really anything about that person in such a short period of time. And I mean, I know there's certain ways, I know this is also a vast type of topic. I know there are situations where certain things, like people can put up a front and things like that. I'm fully aware of that. But in general, that shouldn't be the case. And that's why it's so sad to me when I can see people give up in such a short period of time, because there's so much to discover about the other person in a marriage. And like you said, the fun that you can have when you actually respect one another enough. And I think not always finding fault. I think that's also the thing. Like it's such a, how can I say, a thing these days where people want to be correct, right? They want to be the one that has the last say, or they want to be the one correct. And I actually saw I listened to a podcast, or I think it was a podcast, about Wayne Dyer. And he had something where he kind of said, do you want to be happy or do you want to be correct? And I think it's that type of thing. Sometimes it's easier to, just stay back. And just give that person freedom to be themselves as well. And seeing things from a different perspective and realizing again why you kind of came together with that person in the first place. I think that's always the type of thing that a person should hold on to as well, is why you came together in the first place. And everybody changes and grows.
Of course.
All of those type of things. But I think the number one thing for me is, like we said, it's the communication, and it's really that respectful part. It's not just about loving the person, but it's about respecting the person as well. Respecting the person enough and yourself enough to have those, or to compromise a little bit. I think that's the thing. I don't know if this made sense.
That made perfect sense. So I actually have a great story to tell you guys that will encapsulate this very pretty. So my parents had an absolute gift of finding things to fight about. Oh my gosh. It was absolutely incredible to behold. It sucked, but it was incredible to behold. And I remember the one day we were in the car and we were on the way. It was a fairly long drive. It was about a 70-kilometer drive or whatever. So not that far, but it was, it takes about an hour or whatever. And we had stopped at a garage and my parents bought everyone a chocolate bar.
Mm-hmm. Like you do.
All right. Now, can you guys spot the fight yet? No? Okay. Nor could I. So then we got into the car and my sister and I were in the back seat and we unwrapped our chocolate and started eating them. All right. And then my mom was driving this day. Now, I, for the life of me, I cannot figure out why my mom was driving, but she was driving this day. And my dad was in the passenger seat. And he decided, being the lovely, kind, lovely, loving husband that he was, that he would unwrap my mom's chocolate bar for her and hand it to her because she was busy driving. That's
what you do.
That's still good, right? So he did. So he unwrapped a chocolate bar the way that I unwrap a chocolate bar. Now, here's an interesting thing. We unwrap chocolate bars very differently.
Very.
Yeah. But
I'm all like...
Yeah, she mutilates that little wrapper. She's like, you will die. You held this chocolate bar captive.
Hey, like when you're a child, you don't just open the gift. Like you tear it apart. That's exactly what I with chocolate. It's a gift.
That wrapper kept her chocolate bar captive for so long. She's freeing the chocolate bar, and she's going to take her vengeance on that wrapper.
Yes.
I'm not that person.
No.
I will meticulously unwrap that wrapper, and when I'm done with that chocolate bar, that wrapper is pristine, and it is neatly folded up, and it will be placed in the dustbin. No, you just anyways, it's funny. I think it's hilarious, and I think it's one of the coolest little things.
Because they're so different, yes.
So my dad was very much like me. He unwrapped it very diligently, and he was very
Well, you got it from your dad, not your dad from you.
I did. Though. No. But he was like me in that regard. Yeah. So he unfolded it, and he opened the chocolate bar, and he pushed out half of the chocolate bar from the top.
Totally get
and
it,
the bottom, he folded it nicely over, and he created a lovely little handle for my mom to hold this chocolate bar and eat it whilst driving.
Yes.
And he handed it to her all lovingly. Here you go, darling. And my mom proceeded to grab the chocolate bar from the top, ripped it out of the packet, and just
put it in her mouth.
Bit it. Now, my father then proceeded to go, "What did you just do, you animal?" And my mom was like,
"What?
I took the chocolate bar. You handed it to me. Was that yours?" And he's like, "You know what? I took the time, and I lovingly created you this thing to hold so that you wouldn't get your hands full of chocolate, where you could just focus on driving and have it nicely, neatly." And they proceeded to spend the remainder of the trip, which was about 40 to 50 odd kilometers,
arguing about that,
literally screaming at each other about a freaking chocolate bar, and how he so badly just wanted to do something nice for her, and she refused that gift and proceeded to just grab the chocolate. It was horrendous. It was a big fight. Anyways, you and I had a very similar experience once. We went on holiday, and we had multiple destinations on this holiday.
Yes.
And we arrived to the first place, and you take your cell phone chargers with you.
Correct.
And we had a double adapter. Now, in South Africa, we have a three-prong plug. Those are our main outlets. But our cell phone chargers only has the two-prong. So it can't go into... Yes. So you have an adapter. It's we call it a double adapter. It just adapts the 3 prongs into a smaller 2-prong for your charger. And we had packed that in, and we got to our first destination, and we were charging our cell phones and whatever, and it was beautiful, and we had a lovely, I think that was only a weekend, and then after the weekend, we packed everything up again, and we got to the second destination. And I asked you, "Where is the plug?" And you told me, "I told you to pack it in." And I was like, "Lady,
you did not.
Don't be saying stuff like that now, because you most certainly did not tell me specifically to pack in this adapter plug." And you were like, "Oh, I most certainly did." And I said, "Oh, you most certainly did not." And in that moment, I literally saw that picture from the back seat where my mom and dad had this argument. And I remembered that we had a conversation before we got married where I told you I will not have fights about chocolate wrappers. And in that moment, that adapter
became the chocolate
wrapper. A chocolate wrapper in front of me.
Yes.
And I was like, this is not happening. And I took a step back and I took a deep breath, and I was like, okay, hold on. Let's backtrack. We are clearly remembering the story slightly different. Can you just maybe explain to me, where was I standing when you said this to me? And you said to me, "Love, You were standing at the foot of the bed, and this adapter was lying right on top of our safe. And I told you, put that in the bag. And I said, yes, that you most certainly did. Since then, we used this adapter in the previous location that we were booked in on holiday, on our vacation. Mm-hmm. I'm asking, did you pack it in when we packed everything up at the previous vacation destination? You said, oh, you're talking about that. No, actually, you know what? I think we forgot it there because I don't recall packing that in. I said, oh, I don't recall packing it in. Oh, that's the simplest fix. It's like $1. We can just go and buy a new one. That's not a problem. All right. So you didn't tell me to pack it in at the holiday destination that we were at first? No, I didn't. All right, we did. We're actually on the same page. I remember you telling me at home, and I don't remember you telling me at this. Oh, we're on the same page. Okay, fantastic. And I remember us walking into
loud
the shop.
And proud.
I mean, we walked into the shop to buy a new adapter, and we were like, we're buying a new adapter. Because you know why we're buying this new adapter? Because we don't fight as a couple. We find solutions, and we figure out where the miscommunication happened.
Yes.
And we were so proud of that. And to this day, that story sticks to me like freaking glue, because I'm like, we do not argue over something like that. And that had the potential to be
such a big fight and ruining such a big part of the holiday.
Yeah. And we just refused.
Because that's when we just came to the next destination, and it would have ruined like the entire
thing. And we still had a week and a half or whatever worth. And I remember the rest of that holiday was like,
yeah, what you gonna do?
We're a team, and we fist bumped each other every opportunity we got. We're like, yep, that's what teams do, you know. And it's such a beautiful thing. Just taking that moment and realizing, wait, we might be thinking of two different things, two different time frames. We might be, we're just missing something. And if we find that little detail, we're going to be able to have the most incredible resolution to this argument. And we're going to stand back and go, man, we kicked that argument in the butt before it even turned into an argument. Yeah. And it's something that we're proud of. And we keep doing that to this day.
Yes, I think there's so many such scenarios where a person can actually say something like that or do something like that. And I remember, like, fairly recently, actually, it is something that we've always done, but somehow you kind of lose a little bit of track, you know, when things carry on. And I remember there's one certain situation as well where Harry will never start eating his plate of food without me being with him. Yeah. Like, even if he dished up his food and he sits at the table, he's not going to start eating his food until I'm with him, and then we can start enjoying the meal together. And that's basically how we've always done it, and it's always kind of been a thing. And the one day we had friends over, and I can remember I was in conversation with a friend, and I was busy with a plate. And as I took the plate, I was kind of like, even before I got to the table, I was like, I think it was a plate of chips or I cannot really remember what it was. But I was starting to like eat, and I got to the table, and I see you sitting like patiently waiting for me. And in that moment, like, my heart almost sank, because I was like, just a normal, out of the ordinary type of conversation kind of made me not even being mindful of that small little thing that we always do. Yeah. And I can actually remember I apologized. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You know, and to you, it's not that big a thing that I have to do it, like you do it, but it was not such a big thing, you know. Like, you didn't expect me to do it just because you do it. No. But again, because it's something that you do, I respect it so much that I want to do it as well. And in that moment, it didn't happen. And I was like, oh, I'm such a bad human. I can't even wait for my husband before I start eating. and to this day, when we start with food, I am mindful, like I've said to myself, this is something that's not going to happen again, and I will be mindful enough to, start, like,
to wait,
I will wait.
And but that's exactly what I meant. I never expected you to wait for me before you started eating. Mm-mm. That's never been a thought of mine. No. That is simply something that I do out of respect for you, out of respect for our marriage. It's just a way that it manifests through me. I'm not saying if you do not do this, you're not respectful or anything.
Not
That's
at
not
all.
what I'm saying.
No, not at all.
People are different. That's just the way that respect manifested through me is I'm going to wait for you. And it's something I do, whether we're having the silliest thing or it's a prepared meal, I will wait.
Yep.
It's just how it is. And I never really even gave that a whole lot of thought.
No.
It's not that I sat there, I'm waiting for her. It's just came very naturally. And I never expected you to do that. Mm-mm. What I'm trying to get at is you're only in charge of yourself. I never expected it from you. And now all of a sudden you're like, I will not look at my plate before you're next to me,
Yes. But I think that's the thing. It's that mutual respect thing that starts to happen as well. But I also think, in certain scenarios, like just taking the scenario of your mom and dad again, like, and I think if they had to think back on it today, they would have handled it so much differently. But it's so easy that a fight can start over something that is so silly. I mean, I have so many stories about my mom and dad that over silly. I can remember one situation about some glue that my brother didn't have, and it was one major fight. And I can also remember standing there thinking, how are you guys fighting over something so little, such a little thing that you're making such a big thing? And in that instance, your dad was hurt, but he could have, in a respectful way, say, listen, can we maybe have a discussion about this? Like, this is kind of important to me. I would kind of, just appreciate it if you actually saw the beauty in it. And, your mom because, I mean, I know your mom, and I know how she works. Lady. She doesn't think about stuff like that. In certain regards, I'm very much like her in that way. It's like you'll just like grab something and you don't even really like give it much thought.
Which is fine.
Which is fine.
Life is supposed to be simple. You shouldn't overthink anything.
No. And I think that's also the big thing. Like, again, we're telling a whole lot of short stories, and everybody's probably thinking like, what has this got to do with real life? I think that's got everything to do with real life.
Absolutely.
I think people make the little things big things where it's not supposed to be big things. And big things can be handled so much better when those little things are handled so much better.
That's it. If you argue and fight over the little things, the day a big thing presents itself, it's game over.
Yep.
And that, about call it a year ago-ish, we had a big thing present itself to us. And to most couples, it would either have changed the dynamic of the marriage completely, and it would have been a horrible marriage moving forward, or it could very well have ended the marriage.
Yep.
In most cases.
In most cases, I think it would have, yes.
And this massive thing presented itself to us. We're not going to talk about what it was. It's not necessary.
That's our story.
Yeah. But it was a big thing.
Maybe, depending on where the podcasts go, we might have conversations about things
that
like that.
At a later stage,
I don't think it's necessary for this topic.
No. But we had this massive thing present itself. And I remember it took you 2 or 3 days to even mention it to me. Because you were absolutely just petrified of what was going to happen. You're like, man, we are going to probably, this could very well be the end. And I know it weighed on you for 3 days or whatever. And I was patient. I could see, I mean, you were distant. You were just like keeping me at a distance. And it was harsh. And I was like, man, something's eating her freaking alive. And I don't know what it is. But I also know you well enough to kind of just give you the space. But when it gets to a certain point, I also realize I'm going to have to step in. And I remember I sat you down the one day and I was like, listen, clearly something is up and I'm getting worried.
Yeah.
And you were like,
to talk to me right
okay,
now.
but I can't. And I was like, listen, here's the thing. This is not going to work. If we can't talk to each other openly and honestly, then what have we spent the last 14 years working on? And you were like, that's true. All right. And we sat down and man, that was a long discussion.
It was a long conversation, yes.
But I remember it was intense. And you were like, I don't even know like how to say the actual words. And I was like, it's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the words are. Say them calmly and let's talk about it. Let's find out what's going on. And you opened up and you fully expected me to just explode. I remember you actually told me that. You were like, just whatever you do, don't freaking attack me. And I was like, I won't attack you. Don't worry.
I know you better than that, but yes, it was harsh.
You were scared that I was going to just absolutely lose my mind. And you shared your heart. And I think, if I can recall correctly, I actually walked over and I just gave you a hug. Yeah. And I was like, I am so sorry that you had to carry this for 3 days. I feel absolutely just broken that you had to go through that. And I think this is probably the loudest my voice got in that entire conversation.
Yes, correct.
I just tried to bring you the calmest environment that I possibly could. And we spent an hour or 2 or 3, I don't know, it was a long time.
It was a long time. Yes.
We both cried. We both apologized. We both found peace. And after you shared, you spent a good while sharing your heart. And you presented this entire thing to me. And you basically needed me to share my perspective on the same situation. And one thing that happened was you did something that you knew you weren't supposed to do, but it was a necessary thing to do.
Yes. Because
there was something else that needed sorting out. And that's all we're going to share today. But
now all of them are like, what is it?
Fudge? Don't you worry. Everything's fine.
Yes.
And I just reassured you. And I remember one of the first things I said to you was, if I ever gave you the impression that I would lash out because you did something, I apologize. That was one of the first things I said. It's just, I need you to always know that I'm a safe space. It's always safe to come to me with anything. Yeah. I don't care if you murderized a human. You come to me and you tell me, and we'll find a peaceful solution to this. And we spoke about it and we figured it out and we found a solution, and all of a sudden everything made sense. And I can honestly say that thing that had the potential to tear marriages apart probably brought me and you closer than we had ever been before. Because after that, both of us found new boundaries, found new ways in which we could respect each other. And we realized certain things that were important to each other, and it helped us to strengthen our marriage to a point where I can honestly say, man, we're just the closest we've ever been, and it's stunning. I love our marriage. Our marriage is fucking rules. So it's just really, really cool. Does. So, and that's what I mean. No, because we didn't fight about a freaking power adapter. It taught us how to handle the big stuff.
Yes.
That's it. Just learn from your little
how it's always
things.
been. Like whether it is real life finances, whether it is health issues, whether it is, I don't know, grief that you have to deal with, whether it is your own freaking insecurities. I think that's also the thing. Like we all have our insecurities, and we all have things that we work through, and we all have struggles that you also go through. But you'll never be able to help your partner through any of that if you can't even help them through the little stuff that's not supposed to be a thing. And I think that is one of the nicest things about us having that. Like, because we know little things become big things for certain people, we joke about it.
Yeah.
Because it really is. Like, there's nothing that Harry will do that will irritate me. Nothing.
Yeah.
There's not a little... I do not have a pet peeve over anything that Harry does. He doesn't have a pet peeve over anything that I do.
No.
Because there's certain things that we just realize it's not important to make this a big thing. That there's so many nicer things that we can do.
Absolutely.
And I think, it's not just giving the person free rein just to carry on with whatever.
No.
There's certain compromises. There's certain things, again, like you said, with a toothbrush type of thing. There's certain things that you'll mention. And just the mentioning of it makes the other person realize, oh, sheesh, okay, hang on. I need to pay attention to this. And it's not that you're going to always get it right. Sometimes you still forget. It's, again, like a type of a habit that needs to be broken or whatever it might be. But I think couples need to understand that a compromise is such a big thing. And it's not just compromise from the one side.
No.
Both parties need to be on the same page.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes it's the thing, like I'm sometimes going to adapt to what you want. Yeah. I'm going to compromise for you. You're going to compromise for me. And sometimes you're not going to find that actual compromise. And then you need to find something else where both parties are happy with. Because I think that's the thing. You don't want something so little to become such a big thing, right?
I want to jump into something that you said. Sometimes you just have to be on the same page. And I think the reality is, you're not always going to be on the same page.
No.
As long as both of you have the same goal.
Yes.
And that goal is to safeguard your marriage at any cost.
Yes.
If that is your goal, you cannot go wrong. Mm-hmm. If both of you have the goal, I will safeguard my marriage at any cost. I will do whatever it takes. Mm-hmm. Man, life is infinitely more easy.
Yep. And I think, like, one thing that people also need to realize is marriage is a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice that you have decided, but it's one of the biggest and greatest sacrifices that you can make, right? Is to give yourself to another person.
Yeah.
And I think, that's one thing that people also need to realize is the moment that you've actually decided to be with a person, you do give up a part of yourself.
You do.
It kind of has to. And if you don't, then marriage has never been a priority. And I think that is the sad truth as well. Because, how many times have we heard that people will say, but I'll divorce you over the stupidest, littlest of things. And I'm like, do you really place your marriage on something so so little, so small. And that's sad.
That is sad.
Like, yeah.
And one more thing before we go.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned something before we started this podcast.
Yes.
I asked you, well, what is kind of some of the points that you would want to talk about during this? And you actually said something. Can you recall?
I think so, but you just
lay it on me.
I can. No. Was it about the love? I can't. No. Tell me. I don't know. You're putting me under pressure, love.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
I can't always remember what I say.
I was like, I said words.
I said,
when?
what?
When
I know we
this?
talk. You're supposed to listen, not me. You're supposed to listen what comes out of my mouth. I don't need to recall that.
Why should I remember what I said if you're there to remind me of what I said?
Yes,
Come on,
exactly.
man.
You see, marriage 101.
There we go. There we go. I mean, we can just end it right there. Oh my gosh. That is going to be how this video starts. I can guarantee you. Wow, now I need to backtrack my thoughts. Good grief. So you said that one thing that always confuses you or that boggles your brain is how couples, there we go, got it, is how couples will deliberately push each other's buttons.
Yes.
And that's something that we've always seen it with couples that we hang out with. And a lot of them do it in a joking manner.
Well, the person doing the poking does it in a joking manner, yes.
But the other person, it is a button. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
like,
can you just stop it?
Yes.
And yes, afterwards you can have a giggle about it and all of that. But I think that's something that we've never done. And I recall a conversation we had right at the beginning of our marriage where, a lot of the times you would, like both of us, like I know I did it as well, is someone would say something and you'll kind of, instead of, stupid example, hey, would you like a cup of coffee? Well, I mean, is my cup empty? You get what I'm saying? You would answer the question.
Yeah.
You would say yes, but you would kind of be sarcastic about it. And I remember right at the beginning of our marriage, I told you, man, I do not think that's a clever idea.
No.
Because sarcasm, yes, it can be funny.
When you understand.
When you understand it and when you do it correctly.
On the same page, yes.
But as a newly married couple, still kind of figuring each other out, maybe let's not do that until we can really figure each other out. And we haven't done that.
So we'll do it now and like now and then we will, but it's also not the norm.
It's not the norm.
Because sometimes, and I think, I'm like...
That's all good.
I think sometimes what happens is you don't know what frame of mind that person is going to be in that day. And being in the wrong frame of mind in a certain period and using sarcasm can really hurt that person, or it can explode, or it can come across as very... how can I say it?
Asshole-ish.
Yes. And I think that's the thing. Like, if you really know your partner well enough, it is safe to do that. But again, you have to analyze the situation. I think that's what it's about.
And I mean, that's just one of the things that we did. But I think what we're trying to get at is, if you know a certain thing annoys your partner, like for example with the tickling thing, you knew that was a trigger for me. If you constantly tried to, oh man, I'm just joking and whatever, and you did it, eventually I would have gotten to a point where I was like, listen, I'm not being funny, but now we're going to have it out. And
then you lose the trust in your partner, right?
You lose the trust.
Because you ask your partner not to do something, and then they deliberately go and do something. And that, unfortunately, in the brain, it does cause that distrust type of thing. It does. It really does.
Even if they don't ask you to not do it. If you're aware of something that kind of triggers, annoys them, let's use a stupid example. The toilet paper roll thing. All right? It's a thing in every freaking household. I like it one way, you like it the other way. We're fortunate in that we both like it the same way. Yay, we win.
Well, to be brutally honest, I never really worried about it.
Yeah.
I can do it both ways, but because I know you do it a certain way, I'm going to respect that.
You're just going to do it that way.
Yeah. And it just makes sense, actually.
It does make sense.
When you do put
of course.
thought to it.
Y'all like really everything. Need to do it
so
right.
That's all. I'm not going to say that.
Oh, dear.
No, let's carry on. I'll say afterwards.
I'm so curious to know what you're just about to say. Anyways, so what we're trying to get at is don't hang it the wrong way around just because, I'm going to get him this time. No, just don't do it. Mm-mm. Do it the right way. And once you start treating each other with that kind of respect, you're going to reach a very cool stage where everything is peaceful. Everything is lovely and calm, and you've got a happy life. And then you're going to find yourself in the situation where I found myself, and I've shared this in a previous podcast. One of my main goals in life is to make you laugh.
Yes.
That's what I do. Yes. It's because, my gosh, if you can make your partner laugh, that means they're having a good time. And if they're having a good time, that means they're enjoying the company. Hey, that means they're going to want to spend more time with you. Hey, it's a win-win all around. So that is part of my life, but I'm not going to do it by being sarcastic or by pushing your button and me getting a laugh. No.
Yeah,
my goal is not for me to get a laugh. My goal is to make you laugh and to give you a good time. And then you're going to retaliate in the same way. And that's the thing, man. Put your partner first, and life is absolutely just so much infinitely easier.
Yes, I think put your partner first, but don't try and change your partner. I think that's the thing, because that is going to happen automatically. I would say, like if you like you said in the beginning as well, like if you focus on working on yourself to be the best partner for your partner, you don't have to change your partner, right? That's like an automatic snowball effect that's basically going to happen.
And I think a lot of the times with the silly little small things like the toilet paper or whatever, if you actually just have a quick conversation about it and give each other the opportunity to present
their case
reasoning,
or their reason,
all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, I've never thought about it that way. Man, that actually makes a hell of a lot more sense to do. You know what? I'm not even going to present my case because I've never thought of that, and that makes so much sense. And then it might actually change your mind, and you're going to be like, oh, I can't believe I did it the wrong way always.
But that's what I wanted to say. But like Harry always has a reason when he presents a compromise or when he presents a case, I would say. And most of the time, the majority of the time, the case is so good that I don't even need to.
It has happened multiple times.
And then you're like, but I don't want you to change your way. No, I'm going to change it. Like I am.
It's happened so many times. And I've started feeling bad. I'm like, no, but you make all the compromise. I want to make a compromise. And you're like, but now that I know that this is, oh man, I can't believe I've been doing this all my life. Damn it. Okay. And then, and then it changes and it's like, okay. So that's it. What makes marriage work
in real life?
It's really hard.
Don't make the small stuff big stuff. I think that's
the
more I think about that's the thing.
Yeah.
Don't fret the small stuff.
Yeah. Just don't turn the small stuff into big stuff. And then when the big stuff represents itself, you know how to handle it. So we need to leave you guys with a fun challenge for the week. If you're in a marriage, if you're listening to this, odds are you're either entering into a marriage or you are in a marriage. We're going to challenge you to find something that your partner does. Find that chocolate wrapper. Find the chocolate wrapper. And either respect your partner enough to realize what they did and thank them. Wow. Oh, thank you so much. That's so pretty. Oh, look at that. I always just devour the chocolate. I never look at this. It's so pretty. Now I've got a little handle. Okay. Do it that way. Or if your partner just takes it out, Man, see, I'm all like, oh, I don't want to get my fingers dirty. I love that you're so just open to get your hands dirty to eat that chocolate bar. Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh, thank you so much. And you have that conversation, and all of a sudden, you're going to have fun, man. Yes. So find the little things that your partner does. Find the positive. That's the thing, man. That thing can go both ways. Yes. Find the positive, compliment each other, and then present you guys, man, I folded this thing so nicely. I thought you were going to use it as a little holder for your chocolate bar. I completely missed it. I just learned something new about you. You just don't care about getting your hands dirty. It's good to know, lady, you know. And now you can turn it into a fun little conversation, and you can have so much fun. So
I think that's the thing. Like, really try and get the fun out of the conversation.
Exactly.
Or get the other person's perspective out of it.
Wow, I wonder how we came up with the title for the name of our podcast. Make life fun again. Find the beauty, find the fun. Turn every conversation that could be potentially dangerous, turn it into a fun way to rediscover your partner and to rediscover why you love them, what it is about them, with all of their quirks and weirdness.
Yep.
Find the beauty in it. Yep. That's our challenge to you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so very much, love.
Thanks,
This
babe.
was absolutely awesome. Oh my gosh. You just said we don't have things that annoy each other. Oh my gosh. Is that not just the most annoying thing that people do? Hi, babe. I get freaking messages on WhatsApp. Hey, babe. Oh my gosh.
So, but you see, this is something that annoys both of us.
Yeah,
now
luckily
we can have
both
fun
of us.
with it.
Here's a funny one.
Yes, babe.
Can you remember I wrote you a song a while back? Baby, I wanted my gosh, it was about a week ago. I was like,
but that was different.
That was in a song.
It was different. And it wasn't babe.
Oh my gosh, that's an annoying thing. Stop calling each other babe. It's such an annoying thing. Yeah. You don't have to. Just don't call us babe.
He's not.
No, but it's weird. It's not even in a flirty way. People will just message you. Hi, babe. Yes. I was thinking this. And I'm like,
not your babe.
Not your babe, bruh.
Dude.
It's funny. It's funny.
Yes, it is.
All right. Thank you guys so very much.
Thanks, babe.
Please do let us know. Reach out and tell us what topics you would like us to discuss. We always love hearing from you guys. And have a fun week, babes.
Cheerio.